The Australian Open featuring Fortnite was a massive success. I genuinely enjoyed watching and I can't wait for this year's upcoming events. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy and today I want to discuss the Australian Open, the good, the bad, as well as the future events to come for Fortnite esports in 2020. But before we jump into it, grab yourself a coldie, turn on some Ankadaka, and drop a like on the video. I always appreciate any support and new subscribers as well. We'll also be talking about future competitive events for Fortnite 2020 later in the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So the Australian Open kicked off this past weekend with the Trios Pro-Am and an amazing debut casting performance from Aussie Antics. Day 1 featured some fun games with pros, celebrities, and content creators. A fun day of course, but you know how the Pro-Am is. It's ultimately there to kind of build hype for the event and the main event, which was on Saturday, the Australian Open Solos. I gotta say, I really did love this event. I had that jittery butterfly feeling in my stomach from back when I watched the Fortnite World Cup. The Australian Open reminded me why I love Fortnite esports, but more importantly, why I love Fortnite LAN events. Some insanely stacked games with tons of action featuring some of the best players in the world mixed with a ton of OCE talent and some cool content creators as well. After 6 games, it was all over with Bresso finishing first place in his home country of Australia, also being the first controller player to ever win a major Fortnite LAN event. We had Looter finishing in second place, and one of the gods of the North America West region, Symmetrical, coming in third. Also, just for a couple extra shoutouts, we had Nyhrox, our Duo World Cup winner, in 4th, TSM Zexro in 8th, and Aimbot.exe from the Asia region landing himself in 10th place, so congratulations to you guys. Now, of course, no event is perfect, and I do want to talk about the good and the bad parts as a viewer for the Australian Open. Firstly, I want to say a huge congratulations and huge props to 2 specific parties. Number 1, Aussie Antics. I kid you not, may be one of the best casters we have in the scene today, making his professional casting debut in Fortnite, and I think he absolutely killed it, especially his performances and his castings with Fallout. Number 2, Epic Games. Whatever version of the Spectator League client we saw at Australian Open was so smooth and so clean. There were no hitches, stutters, or freezes that I saw at all, and it made the whole experience just very fun, fluid, and enjoyable. But again, no event is without its flaws, and some of these issues should definitely be talked about and addressed for future events. I want to address this next part pretty delicately and respectfully as possible. I'm personally just not a huge fan of some of the on-air talent that was featured this past weekend. Outside of Fallout and Aussie Antics, the rest of the talent lineup just wasn't really as strong, and they definitely don't seem like well rooted in the Fortnite culture or the Fortnite competitive community, or just nearly as knowledgeable. I'm glad that the Australian Open was able to feature some of the Australian talent, but overall I just wasn't a huge fan of their performances. Now, the other complaint I have is kind of a big one. I think the observing in-game at the Australian Open was rather poor. It's been kind of an issue with Battle Royales and specifically in Fortnite in the past as well. During the broadcast, we just see a lot of random cuts, spectating unimportant moments, overutilization of the free cam, and what seems to be a lack of knowledge on what is and isn't important to show during a competitive event. I suggest Epic works to develop a kind of detailed guide on what is and isn't contextually important at certain intervals in the game. For example, what players on high ground, following players who are point leaders in the standings, showing the map after a zone shift, and even players who have been contesting each other off spawn each game. As a player and a fan of competitive Fortnite, it's really important that the broadcast follows the important action and delivers valuable information to the viewers on time. Overall, the Australian Open was a successful event. I love the action, I love the atmosphere, and the excitement that it brings to the future of Fortnite esports. I do hope that we see more LAN events throughout the year, maybe even some form of a pro league with qualifiers and like quarterly LANs. And we've talked about that in the past, definitely something cool that I think they could maybe explore. I gotta say, I was pretty shocked that some of the titans of the Fortnite pro scene like Benji, Psalm, Zayt, and Saf didn't make it into the top 10, but hey, this was the first major LAN in Chapter 2, so we'll just have to wait and see how these guys perform throughout the rest of the year. To wrap up the Australian Open talk, take a look at this amazing Game 6 pop-off by our winner, Bresso. Roll it.
That's getting top 15. There it is. Bresso gets top 15 placement points.
And just like that, you blinked and we're in the top 13 in match number 6 to close this one out. Bresso picks up a huge elimination on Epic Whale, gets the 50 HP from Siphon, is in a good position here. Jax and Bresso gets another one. Jax picks up a 30, actually eliminates himself, sorry, as Alec takes out Benji Fishy. We have Nyhrox still alive. We also have Bresso, 2 of our top 5 current standings players.
Brezzo's on 43 points here. Like I said, we have the two storylines coming to head. Can Brezzo make it in his first LAN event on controller? 43 points here. Or can Nyrox jump out of the shadow of the duos world champion and come out on top in solos? We have Zayt here, someone we all expect to do very well today. We have some amazing players in this endgame.
If anyone's going to crush a dream, it's going to be Zayt, who is honestly only 19 points, not in the top standings, but he can end the journey for Brezzo. But look where Brezzo is, RPG in his name. He did get that massive upgrade, and he has high ground, so in a pretty good position here. Brezzo wants to be in the fight, though. He's a controller player. He wants to take that to his advantage.
We see that on the right there, Brezzo's in the fight. We see Nyrox in not the greatest position here. He's on ultimate low ground, has to traverse this mountain. The reason why that lobby cleared out so quickly is this is one of the worst zones I've seen, and it keeps pulling across, going up the mountain. Brezzo takes down Nyrox. This might be it right now. He's running with the Jinx in front of him. An OCE player I expect to do well today. Brezzo finding the angle around Jinx, trying to end his dreams right here. Brezzo might have this one through. Jinx comes out. Brezzo goes low. 62 health. He's got to get out of Storm now. He needs to rotate through. There's 3 players alive. He's on high ground on 47 health. He has chances above him.
This man has ice in his veins. Brezzo gets a third. It's a 1 versus 1. I think it's Zayt. Brezzo versus Zayt to close this one out. The Titan eliminated the other. It's actually Bola. Brezzo versus Bola.
They're actually their squad mates. Is Brezzo taking down Bola? Can he do this one here? Can it go squad mate against squad mate? Can Bola crush his dreams? If Brezzo wins this, you have to think he's going to win the entire tournament. He's reloading this rocket. He's pushing forward. Needs to find this angle. Does not connect. Bola still has some materials down there. He's getting the minis off. He has no health meds though. He's got 80 health, 42 shield. He's being dropped down. He's on top of Bola. The shots come out, and Brezzo takes it. 52 points total. He gets the victory royale, and you have to assume he's the AO champion. We don't know yet though. Oh my gosh.
So wow, what an amazing performance from Brezzo, popping off on controller and actually scoring the majority of his points from placement. So surely this will help define him as a strong player within his region and help build him a following. If you haven't, guys, make sure you go follow him. Now, I've told you all to stay tuned because I do want to talk about the future events coming to Fortnite Esports. I've put this opinion on Twitter and a couple replies and whatnot, but I'm telling you right now, we're getting a Fortnite 2020 World Cup 100%. Now, of course, when I say 100%, I'm speaking from my perspective, but that's just how sure of it that I am. Last month, Epic dropped a blog post on us detailing their intent to punish collusion in competitive events for 2020, which by extension means that there will be events throughout this year. The Fortnite World Cup was a massive success that put Fortnite Esports and Bugha in the limelight of the mainstream media. I expect that they'll be looking to go big this year as well. But that's not all. The Fortnite Championship Series has cemented itself as a formidable proving grounds for competitors online, and I imagine that the Winter Royale will also become a staple event each and every year. We are just breaking into February 2020, and I suspect that Season 2, the new physics engines, and the all but confirmed competitive event schedule for 2020 is about to blow our minds. As always, I want to pass it to you guys. Did you enjoy the Australian Open? What events do you hope to see later this year? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks for checking out the video. Again, you all know that this is my passion to create content and share my thoughts and opinions with you, so thank you so much. I appreciate it again, and I'll see you on the next video.
Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel the fire inside of me? Do you see the sparks that I'm setting free? Does the beat take you